But they both are banks, so there is a difference of opinion. You want to settle outside? No.
The bad bank is an asset reconstruction company.
Asset reconstruction company, not a bank. So then why is it called as bank?
Because it is
Because it's
pulling in
taking the
all and
NPS.
keeping
It is pooling in all.
Paying
It's paying some amount. Okay. So what kind of prelims question might come from that particular area? Sir, we started 1 week ago. If we had the ability to frame prelims questions, why will be here, right? Maruti, you have an idea about bad bank? We don't do that in our classes. Even if we ask, people don't stand. Yes. Aditya, what is bad bank? They are related to NPS. Very good. Now, what is NPA? NPA. How sorry, Anurya. Yeah.
NPS are the assets that are remaining in the bank which are unpaid by the loan takers.
Someone sends a message, please. You just raise the hand. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
NPS are the assets that are left in the bank which are unpaid by the which the loan takers are unable to pay to the bank.
Bhushri, what is NPA?
Non-profit.
Non-profit association. Asset. Okay. Non-profit asset or non-performing asset? Non-performing asset. Okay. So what is NPA? Full form. All of you are clear. NPA. Okay then.
Someone doesn't repay the loan.
Someone doesn't repay the loan. They become the liability to the bank. Or it's a non-performing asset. So technically, it is supposed to be for 90 days. Now, why this reform? See, there are so many things. If we see SARFAESI Act, Insolvency Bankruptcy Code, and now bad banks, it is a lineage. It's a continuation of the same story. Now, why is bad bank being created? So how does it help the economy? The application part. See, technical details of what is in the bad bank or which organizations are created, which companies are created, we will come to know because of their functioning. In a week or so, government will announce them, and government will come to know how it is performing. So logically speaking, why now, and what is the implication? So two things are being done by the government. Recently, AGR, annual gross revenues of the telecom companies, have been given 4 years moratorium, right? And the definition is being changed. Now bad bank. So why is government doing all these reforms? Okay, to solve twin balance sheet syndrome. So I hope all of you remember what is twin balance sheet. I have discussed it in the class few days ago.
Yes.
Right? But what is a macro picture? Where are we going?
Sir, it is the cycle of economy.
Hmm.
Because we are recovering. The economy present needs the investment by public sector, by government.
Mm-hmm. Go on.
So by doing all, so we have seen all these days.
So yeah, in simple words, we can say bad banks or the AGR reforms and all these things will make sure that economy is running, economy is picking up. If Vodafone is not getting some respite from government of India, what will happen? Vodafone will say, I will sell the rest of my assets to Airtel or Jio. It will become a duopoly and they will go. When they go, around 10 lakh families will be affected, right? Huge amount of unemployment will be created, which is not good for the economy. So that is why government is trying to create this sense of security for telecom companies. And duopoly is not good for democracies, right? The more the competition, the more advantage will have the citizens will have. So from all the way from BSNL as a monopoly, we cannot go back to Jio as a monopoly. We need to have diversity. That's point number one. Second thing, if bad bank in theory is supposed to release a huge amount of money into the market. Bad bank means all of you know the functioning, right? So what do bad banks do?
They sell off the NPS and
Sell off the
They
NPS.
take the NPS and give a little less amount.
So okay, whose balance sheets will be clean after bad bank is being introduced?
commercial banks.
Scheduled commercial banks, for
Banks.
example, SBI and all those things. Okay, are they really getting the benefit? In theory, we have around 10 lakh crores of NPS. 10 lakh crores of NPS are there. So only probably 15%, 1.5 lakh crores might come back into the market through bad bank. And bad bank is not universally successful. Not every country that has introduced bad bank has been successful. So this is theory. All these things are theory. In practice, how the system will cope up with the mechanism is more important. In my personal opinion, insolvency and bankruptcy code was a much better reform than a bad bank. We do need a bad bank to an extent, but not totally. But more effective mechanism was insolvency and bankruptcy code, because it gives the foreign investors a sense of confidence. If I enter into a business in India, I also have the chance of coming out.
back.
Okay, that's more important. Clear? We will discuss what is we have already touched upon what is bad bank, the story, so we don't have to spend too much amount of time. And Telangana, recently we have seen a fake encounter. Yes,
Yes.
sorry, there was an encounter, Priyanka Reddy case. The 4 rape suspects were killed. So this, yes, we don't know whether it's genuine or there are a lot of suspicions. So again, justice should be reformative, not retributive. So, but again, societal morality will decide something else. Everybody was very emotionally charged in relation to this particular issue, right? YouTube and all those things. Now, one important topic, we will come back. The other day she was mentioning, so why do newspapers add the term to certain headings? Is this article there in Hindu? Today's Hyderabad Hindu?
Yes.
A year on, the family of Hathras gang rape murder victim awaits justice. So why is this important? So I hope you remember our discussion few days ago where it was mentioned like why add the term like Dalits, minorities in the headings? It provokes, it creates emotions. So this is a neutral heading. Did you read that article? Did you stop and think? What is there to think? Is it useful for UPSC? Who haven't read this article? Have read? Why? Apathy. The state is apathy. APATHY. Apathy means
Not
it doesn't
giving
even register in our brains that we have to stop and think about something. Rape case. Okay. Next article. Yes or no? That happens to all of us. But if I add a 6-year-old Dalit girl is raped, right? You might actually stop and look at that particular article. So there is a rhyme, reason, and rhythm behind everything in the society. And this particular article or this particular rape case is the same rape case from Uttar Pradesh. So a Dalit girl was raped and she was killed in the field. Then the Uttar Pradesh government did not allow the media people or opposition party members to enter that particular area. Some Kerala journalist is still suffering in the Kannappan case, right? So he is still in the Uttar Pradesh jails. And after this rape incident, all the upper caste men of that particular village came into a show to show their strength, unity. So caste consolidation is a very important thing. And in the middle of the night, the police have taken her body and burnt it, so that there was no post-mortem and all those things. So there were so many controversial issues in and around this particular issue. And most importantly, we have to accept as a society, rape is a common thing. Whether it's Dalit, upper caste, Muslim, Hindu, whatever, rape is a very common phenomenon that is happening, that is unfortunate. And we should work towards justice for all women, not only when it is mentioned either Dalit or minority. That was our discussion. Yes or no? Crime is a crime. It doesn't have any religion or any caste. So appeasement of any religion is a wrong thing, or appeasement of any caste is a wrong thing, right? So if we move towards such a equitable society where justice is a rule of law is prevalent, all social evils will come down. When rule of law is not happening in the society, what will happen? No, it's not about crimes will occur, but the thing is, these consolidations will happen. Yes or no? When a traffic constable stops you, what is the first thing you will say? I'm MLA's brother-in-law. Yes or no? Even if you are MLA himself, you have to pay the tax. That is rule of law in simple terms. Yes or no? But we have contact basis. 6 degrees of separation. Have you ever heard about it? 6 degrees of separation. Kevin Bacon. No. What do you people do in the normal times? Apart from UPSC, 8 hours reading and all those things. Have you ever heard about a term called as 6 degrees of separation? Never. Sorry? 6 degrees of separation is a simple social concept. It was introduced as a hilarious concept for Kevin Bacon. That means, how many people do I need to know Kevin Bacon? Like, if I need to know Prime Minister Modi, how many people do I need to know? Like, I know X knows Amit Shah know Prime Minister. So my 6 degree of separation is 4 people. I hope you get the concept, right? How many people do you know to get something done? So Kevin Bacon actually, I mean, the average number is 6. It takes 6 numbers to know Kevin Bacon. I mean, he's a Hollywood movie actor, so it became a popular theory. So in the same way, to get things done in India, you need to know someone in power, IAS, IPS, minister, MLA, or municipal corporator. Yes or no? So only when you know someone, things will get done. Just like that, even temple darshan. Yes or no? I hope you understand. Yes. To get VIP treatment in Tirupati, you need to know someone in income tax. Income tax quarters are very nearby the 300 ticket. So 6 degrees of separation. So for me, my very good friend is a IRS officer. So 1 degree. Or if you become tomorrow, I will have something else. Yes or no? Okay. So jokes apart, you get the idea. So rule of law is not being implemented in the letter and spirit. So that is creating a lot of issues. So always remember, constitution is not created by some utopian people. They are also human beings. They have faced more horrendous crimes than us: poverty, hunger, partition. In spite of all these things, they had a liberal heart to create a constitution. The only failure is constitutionalism. How we are implementing. Clear? Okay. So the other day we were discussing about the keyword.
Waste to wealth.
Waste to energy or waste to wealth. Have you seen this article? Seen, glanced, and moved on. Yes or no? How many of you haven't read this article? Very good, smart people. You read? So why even bother raising hand? Anyhow, okay. So why is it important? First of all, the inculcation of keywords don't happen overnight, right? So when you see me speaking, I use terms without thinking much about it. Iota or onus is on someone. These comes from reading newspaper. They become a part and parcel of your vocabulary, and your writing style will also change. So I don't say, sir, I don't have time. I will say, due to paucity of time. It sounds more formal, right? And stylish also. Okay. But the thing is, keywords inculcation is very important. Now, what is the criticism? He's saying waste to energy is not a good disposable method. Sometimes in Hyderabad, there is a plant. I think in some fruit market or vegetable market, what they do is they take all the decomposed vegetables, they will convert it into manure. So that's a very good waste to energy potential. Sometimes we take it and we burn it. Okay, not everything, but some part of it will be burned. And he is arguing that the pollution is being dispersed. Earlier, I used to say heaps and mountains of garbage. Now we are dispersing it through air. So it's not actually making a huge impact. And they also say, for example, Sweden, Amsterdam, and other countries, they have done this waste to energy. So it is working fine for them. So why can't we use the same? You can see this slide. In presentation mode, it is not working. Okay, fine. So in Sweden, for every 200 houses, there is a recycle plant. Can India have such thing? Why? Why can't we?
So for every 200 houses would be too costly and impactful for population. So why
Oh.
houses first compacted.
So let's say 2000.
Is the waste generated by 2000 houses more?
Okay, so she's saying 2000 houses it's too much. 200 houses you are saying it's a problematic issue. But the underlying current here is what? Recycling. You will take the recyclable waste to that particular plant, and all of you are not going on the same day. So it's a culture rather than the institution. Yes, I will segregate green, green waste, wet waste, dry waste, recyclable waste, and I am taking the box full of recyclable waste when I feel that the box is done. I'm contributing to the society. Not everybody will go on day one, right? I will go on Monday, you will go on Thursday evening 4. So the concept is to generate that recycling habit. We have this mandate to separate waste at the source. Yes or no? When your mom is throwing the waste, she will throw the milk packet cover and the green leaves into the same basket. It is supposed to be segregated at the source. Because of a time constraint or something, she may or may not do the required. So you need to maintain 2 baskets. Then that has to be collected in the same fashion. You are an aware family, you collected in 2 separate baskets, gave it to the garbage collection. He dumps them both in the same basket. Then what is the concept? So you have to improve the infrastructure. So it's a chain. And trust me, when you segregate the organic waste, and in South Korea and all these countries, they measure your waste. If your green waste, I mean, if your wet waste is very high, rice and all those things, vegetables, so you're wasting a lot of food, you will be punished accordingly. You'll be taxed also. So if that culture is inculcated into the country, automatically we will reduce our home domestic wastage. Yes, then we will segregate it, and the cost of segregation is saved. That will be used in biogas or other areas. Clear? Yes.
People are not so aware that when they're charged, they will tend to go put it on roadside instead of going there.
Again, see, everything is a journey. For example, Hyderabad is trying to have something called as dustbin free city. What is happening? Earlier, where dustbins used to be there, now plastic covers are there. People, people identified the spots. So, what can be done or what should be done here is to create that kind of atmosphere where if you see someone throwing a waste on the road, he should be punished. Then he won't have any other option. And second thing, Freakonomics. There is a book called as Freakonomics. Have you heard about it? Freakonomics. So it's about behavioral science. What they say is waste attracts waste. If you see a roadside with very clean atmosphere, nobody will be throwing anything, but all it takes is one cover. If someone throws a cover, next person will start throwing it. So if you can stop the first person, right, automatically there won't be any place to throw the waste. He will carry it as long as possible. The same has been applied in the Kasi Ghats. So open defecation is a huge problem there. So what did they do? They put lights. You cannot defecate in in a spotlight, right? Like, okay. So that modification has been done. Simple behavioral changes. So defecation has been changed. So see, what I'm trying to tell you is there are multiple ways to create a very good behavioral change, but it will be costly. See, city has to be very vigilant. I cannot be 24/7. Early morning 5:30 while I am coming to jogging, I will come and throw the waste. So society has to be aware. Yes. But all this is for theory, right? When it comes to us, no, you do that. You stop doing that. When Such before that. River pollution, lake pollution, or faith?
Pollution.
Pollution or faith, which is more applicable in this scenario?
Pollution, obviously.
Should be considered.
Both should be considered. Okay. After 2020, 2050, anyhow, the planet will not be there, so there is no point in considering. Why? 2050, we won't have faith, or we only planet will be there. Climate change. Yes. You want to bet on that? No?
So 2050, this 2050.
There's only one 2050, right? The next one will be 3050.
It is true.
In my personal opinion, in my
But we all will living.
that's what I'm counting not to, because I'm a misanthrope. I hate human beings. So I hope climate change will take care of us all, because we are polluting it in 10,000 ways. See, the irony, the paradox is this: people are aware. Everyone I talked to recently, they are saying we have gone for clay Ganesha. My sister, my cousins, most of them have gone for clay Ganesha, seed Ganesha. There are so many behavioral changes, awareness in the people. And on the other hand, every corner in the city have a big Ganesha with huge colors, and we don't know what kind of chemicals and all those things that have been used. So how do we bring that awareness in those people? Because it's a livelihood for an entire people. So in AC room, if I can sit and say, okay, bill passed, ban the Ganeshas. Okay, what about the livelihood of all those people? Yes or no? Overnight for climate, I can ban them. But what about the idol makers? They also have children. Yes, I have to identify them, target them, create a database. Then if I bring behavioral change from that angle, anyhow society is changing on its own. I have to bring the awareness on other sides. So probably I can promote, let's say, natural dyes. That will create one more employment opportunity. It's sustainable. It's good for the planet. So not everything is binary. We can have both faith and fun without destroying the planet. It's a little bit costly effort. For the database has to be there. The initiative has to come from government side. Once the government creates an initiative, probably NGOs or people with a lot of awareness or Greenpeace and all these things can be inculcated into the decision making process. So never ever come to a binary. Yeah, it's wrong. There is always a middle path. Yes or no? If you push something to show, what will happen? If Supreme Court said ban all Ganesha idols, okay, people will be very angry. In protest, they will celebrate more. Yes or no? If I go and say, please don't celebrate Diwali because of COVID, air pollution, what will people say? You don't have a problem with other religion festivals. Only with Hindu festivals you have a problem, and all those things. Yes or no? But if I nudge them, you celebrate, but these limitations are there. Or green cracker. I mean, there is no such thing as green cracker, but okay, we will go for green crackers. Okay, then probably things might change. Slowly that awareness has to be created. When you say outrightly no, people will always be angered, because not everybody will think in the rational sense. So that is also one lesson we have to learn as an administrator. Always take the middle path. Who said so? Gandhi, Buddha's inspiration on Gandhi. Krishna and yes, the Sanatana Dharma's philosophy is Madhyama Marga. Right? Yes, even that is what is said in Bhagavad Gita also. Sthita Pragnata, don't be affected by anything. Middle path is always good. Okay, two democracies and their vigilante problem. This article is more useful in ethics and applied ethics. So there is more normal ethics like philosophy and all those things, and there is applied ethics in relation to abortion laws. So when do we decide abortion is okay? So as this particular article says, the heartbeat bill. after 6 weeks, once the fetus develops a heartbeat, from that point onwards, abortion is a wrong thing because it's a living thing. Yes. So if you are going for an abortion, whom should we consult? The mother or the fetus? We cannot take consent of the fetus, so it should be mother. But here what law is saying, after a particular amount of time, you don't have right on what to do, what not to do. So that brings a lot of ethical debates. And there are some countries which follow the a strain of Christianity which prohibits abortion. So have you read this article, by the way?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay. What are the important points? What are the ethical issues that have been discussed in this article?
Law enforcement outsourced to public citizens.
So vigilante justice. So who is a very famous vigilante? Tell me an example of vigilante. Fiction, non-fiction, anyone? Sir? Okay, Bajrang Dal. Famous, world famous. Batman. I mean, it's a fictional character, but Batman is a world famous vigilante, right? He takes law and order into his own hands. So I'm just giving as an example for understanding, so you will know who is a vigilante. Vigilante is someone who falls outside the purview of law and order or enforcer of law and order, but he wants to uphold law and order. So in Triple Talaq Bill, when Triple Talaq Bill, all of you know Triple Talaq Bill, right? Then when just it was about to be passed, there was a clause in the bill which said anybody can go and complain against a particular individual who has given a triple talaq. Okay, what is the outcome, or what would have been the outcome if that was also passed? I have a Muslim neighbor. No, not communal. Just think about it. I have a Muslim neighbor. I had a fight with him. What will I do? I will go to police station. I will say he recently gave a triple talaq to his wife. Police will come, arrest him. Then the wife will say, no, nothing like that has happened. But this entire drama, some police has been dragged. Yes or no? And I tried to settle a personal score. Yes. So in the same way, in vigilante justice or citizenry arrest. That means if I feel someone is breaking a law or violating a law, okay, and I can arrest him and produce him in front of a court. But the ramification is, if you found that the case is false, okay, you will be fined very heavily. So you should be very careful in arresting someone. The problem with this country, the problem with this application in this country is it has a lot of scope for misuse and abuse. Okay, so the mob lynching and all these things were happening because people were trying to take the law and order into their own hands. Akhlaq Ahmad was murdered because somebody told there was a beef in his fridge. That is purely violation of your right to privacy. And second thing, let's assume he has a beef in his fridge. You complain, the police will come, arrest and punish him accordingly. So by taking law and order into hand, what is happening is, you are a reasonable person. You might want to serve the society or help the country in a genuine fashion. But sometimes mobs go frenzy. Yes or no? They may take things a bit further. Just imagine the rapist in the Hyderabad case. Okay. So if was, let's say, arrested by someone, a citizenry arrest, the others might start beating him, slapping him. It's an entertainment in India, right? When something happens, everybody will stop everything and watch it. Is the net disconnected? Yeah, I do. It's still active.
It's coming.
Okay.
Screen.
Right. Okay. Right. So where was I? Vigilante justice. So it's both. It has advantages and disadvantages. The other alternative is community policing. What is community policing? Police will enroll resident welfare associations and a group of youth. Okay, instead of going to bars and pubs, every day come to 10 p.m. at Banjara Hills, you do the traffic work, or you keep an eye on people who are breaking the law and order. So they will give you a badge or a patch or something. If you see something, inform the nearest police station. So that is community policing, involving community in the policing department. So community policing is always much better than citizenry arrest and vigilante justice, because we don't know where to draw a line. Yes or no? What was that movie? There was one more vigilante movie, Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass 1 and Kick-Ass 2. No? Or in English, again, same question. What do you do in the rest of the time? Okay. So there is a movie called Janata Garage's Vigilante Justice. Okay. What we call as Kranti Abhimanam. Always going to Hollywood movies. You are ignoring Telugu movies, sir. Okay, fine. Janata Garage is a Vigilante Justice. I think in Kannada also you have this movie. What is it? What was Pooja Hegde's first movie? She is from Kannada, right? Oh, okay. Bangalore. I think she have. Okay, let's not go into there. But she have done some vigilante movie. He's a vigilante in that movie. She is the vigilante. No. Okay, we'll settle the debate after the class. Okay, fine. Jaguar. That's not Pooja Hegde. I am mistaken then. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, so Jaguar is the movie. Okay, one of the reason is the predatory pricing by Jio. Okay, when Jio came, the prices came down heavily. Even before Jio came, Indian tariffs were one of the lowest tariffs in the world. Okay, now they are like literally free. 1.5 GB per day, 2 GB per day, and all these things are more or less free things. If you go to different countries, the pricing of data is very costly. India is free, more or less. So to avoid the collapse of the economy, telecom sector especially, government has decided to change the definition of AGR. Okay. No. Yeah. Power లేదా? Okay, no problem, no problem. వచ్చిందేమో అనుకున్నా. Right. So, and one more thing you have to remember is Vodafone is the biggest FDI investor in the country. Vodafone has brought a huge amount of investment into this country. If Vodafone CEO has already indirectly said we are planning to leave this country, then he's changed his statement saying we are not going to bring any new money into this country. Okay, so to consolidate and to survive, they have tied up with Idea, Vodafone Idea, VI. Still, they couldn't make huge amount of profits. So if Vodafone leaves this country at this particular point, it's a bad name not for telecom sector but for government of India. So that is why government is very interested to keep. Government is very interested to keep the telecom sectors intact, and who knows, things might change. But in reality, the companies are not going to recover that amount, right? None of us are actually making in the evening when the call revenue, and that will change the revenue system for the telecom companies. Probably a day might come when everything is virtual in the sense, right? So it's easy to blame the government, but once the things are finalized, things will become very, very easy for the last man in the line. Yes.
So what is the difference between organized, unorganized, formal and informal?
So basically, formal, organized are supposed to be same, one thing. Informal and unorganized are supposed to be one thing. Okay, we interchangeably use them, but there is a subtle difference according to one committee report. If you have a setup, if you have a MSME or some unit, okay, with 20 employees and power, you are an organized sector, you are a formal labor. Okay, if you are employing 10 people without power, you are still organized. Like a carpenter shop with 10 employees is organized. If I have 6 carpenter, my family members, brother-in-law, this, that, okay, it's not organized, it's unorganized sector. Okay, next, formal, informal is pension, benefits, severage, bonuses, etc. is formal. Informal is you are working in a Microsoft, but you are a contract employee, you don't have any of these benefits, you are informal. You got the idea, right? So organized is 10 plus 10 without power or 20 with power. is organized sector. Okay, so anything, it can be a sewing machine industry, it can be 10 women coming together to make papad, 10 people working under one roof with electricity, not not organized, but with electricity, 20 people working together, that is organized sector.
Do you agree that we can use informal and unorganized interchange?
More or less we actually use that same parallels, nobody stops and thinks about it, but general difference is formal is you have protections,
Social security.
social security in a sense. Okay, informal is you have none. So that is why Karnataka brought a bill for gig economy workers, Swiggy employees and all these things, because gig economy is going to be a huge thing. So we cannot have this distinction of formal, informal and all those things. So social security benefit should be there for everyone. So Pradhan Mantri, some Bima Yojana is also there, that is for informal labor. So there should be a day when in the country every labor, please stop, everybody in this country should have
Insurance.
social security. That means one day something happened to him, he is safe.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
3 is company. Is this article important?
UK, yes sir. AUKUS, AUKUS.
What is
Very,
AUKUS?
very important.
Very important. Why PSI are optional? Apart from that,
Sir, it is more or less like Quad and anti-China alliance, and they're cooperating on Indo-Pacific region, and there is a nuclear submarine technology transfer involved, so becomes important.
How is it helping India?
It is in line with India's diplomatic interests of safeguarding.
But who are involved? UK, Australia,
Yes,
and
sir. US.
US. So where is India coming into the picture?
It is, sir, it is Indo-Pacific region, sir. So Indo-Pacific region security is important for us as well, because recently seeing China's expansionist policy, and in the just previous day article we discussed about free and rule-based Indo-Pacific region. So that is in line with our interests also.
So my simple question is this: if China sends a submarine to Indo-Pacific Ocean, like let's say Sri Lanka, who is going to stop it? You said something. China is going to stop China. Who? Sri Lanka will stop. Why will Sri Lanka stop?
Sir, obviously India will always be there, and
Will it stop?
yes sir, it has to.
I'm just patrolling, right? See, one thing you all have to be very clear is there are no permanent friends, permanent enemies. That has become a cliche, but the most important thing is interest. Why is UK trying to create a grouping with its own? Why is US pushing everybody against China? The most vested interest lies with USA. USA has to retain its #1 position, and it should make life of China as difficult as possible. That is point #1. Second thing, not every grouping is going to actually help you in real life. 4 of your friends, okay, you go to movies. In good times you do all those things. One day you call at midnight, 2000, I need 10,000 rupees, something has happened, or I'm stuck at a particular place, please come and pick me up. Okay, the next second is phone will be switched off. Okay, or you will say I'm not having that money or something, even in spite of having money or something like that. So all international groupings are also more or less like the same thing. We are in theory assuming Quad, Australia, Japan, India, US will act as a deterrent to China. China is not testing us. Yes or no? China is not stressing us. China don't want to make explicit enemies. China is implicit enemy. Okay, in the same way, if UK, Australia and America are making a group, okay, it's in theory a deterrent to China. But what is every country doing? US is having a bilateral trade with China, UK is having a bilateral trade with China, Australia is having a very good bilateral trade with China. So when push comes to shove, that means if you have to lose $40 billion or be in a be in a member of a particular group, okay, you will always decide $40 billion is more important. I will tell you a practical example. Australia and Quad. Few years ago, we didn't invite Australia to Malabar exercise. Why?
Because
We didn't want to hurt the sentiments of China. We don't want to offend the feelings of China. You will all have relative, right? Some auntie will come and she will say some mindless things. You won't repeat or you won't offend her by saying anything because you don't want to offend the sentiments of that uncle. Uncle is good, auntie is bad. Yes or no? In the same way, international relations are also like that. I don't want to offend the China's interest explicitly. So that is why I didn't invite Australia to the Malabar exercise. What do I tell with Australia? Okay, that fellow is crying. You kindly adjust. We see countries are like human beings in IR. Yes. So Australia also understood that okay, India and China neighbors. Okay, let them die. Okay, so we will deal with India, Australia bilaterally. We will deal with China, Australia bilaterally. Everybody was happy. Yes. Now that China has angered us in Galwan after the border issue, we are explicitly trying to make sure that China gets the message that if you behave like this, I will make friends with every other enemy out there. So that's the one way to look at this. I will wait for Raja Mohan's article for more analysis. So that's always better. And IR is a slow burn topic, right? You get the idea? So groupings automatically does not translate into welfare. Okay, groupings automatically do not translate into welfare. They might create a stable environment, and it's up to us to exploit that safety. If Quad is providing Indo-Pacific, peace, we have to make most out of that peace. We have to develop more submarines. We have to have submarine landmines or something like that. Yes, so to stop China from coming into Indo-Pacific Ocean, a lot of things. Clear? Yes. Purchase a new pen. Purchase a new pen or a soundless pen. I'm getting irritated by your noise. You just made few seconds ago. You want to have a discussion or debate with me? Yeah. I thought you understood it in the first time. I thought you are smart.
no, I didn't.
I know. Yeah. So what was I discussing? Yeah. So the quad is also the same grouping. So if this thing comes into the picture, India has to make bilateral deals with Europe as quickly as possible. So we have to make the most out of every relation we can see. So if they are reacting, if America is angry, India is angry, we have to make the most for our own strategic autonomy. That is more smart. Clear? Yes. So the rest all are we can discuss some other time also. Don't worry. This article I hope nobody has read.
No.
Good.
Then politics, BJP.
High command.
So okay, is the BJP high command calling the shots? No. So but we have discussed it.
Yes, sir.
Centralization of
power.
politics, congressionalization of BJP.
Yes,
We
sir.
have discussed it there, so we don't need to discuss it. And every political party will go through the same cycle, right? So any other questions?
Sir, China gave a statement regarding our Agni 5 test.
Mhm.
We are violating an 1998 United Nations resolution.
Mhm.
So, isn't India aware of it? That we are still proceeding for it. Like United Nations General Assembly is about to come, and we have to talk about Afghanistan and the other countries' policies that these countries are violating these regulations, and we are also main chair in Afghanistan's Actions Committee. And if India itself violates United Nations security resolutions, then how can we talk there?
So see, India has never violated any international agreement, right?
Yes, sir.
Then
That is what, sir. But I see a logic behind China calling it like according to the resolution, they have said India should not do this test, Agni 5 test. But still, India is proceeding for it. The test is already scheduled. So that is like we are violating that regulation.
Actually, see, there are always technical details. So China is saying we are violating certain principles. But if we don't do that, what is the long-term damage?
Of course, I understand the damage, sir. But
Actually, India has always a soft power advantage, right? So we'll hide behind that. I mean, see, again, that's something government is willing to go ahead. So we have to think from Indian long-term strategic perspective. Probably we have an intelligence where we came to know that China is developing a similar weapon or weapon better than that. So at least we should have some counter to that, right? So not everything we see is what we know. We might have some IB reports, intelligence bureau reports, or raw reports where China is doing something, or it is transferring some technology to Pakistan, right? So, and again, all these missiles are rat race. It's a race to the bottom. You created a bigger weapon, I will create even bigger weapon, and the circle goes on.
So do you recommend memorizing few key points of labor code?
Labor code, there is a summary. There is a summary by Vivek Singh sir, right? 1.5 pages or 2 pages. So you read that labor code summary. Nothing else is required. What is it, bomb? No, we have our own what tiger bomb? No, Ram bomb. Yeah, Ram bomb. Anyhow, I use length of it. Yes. Okay, then. Thank you. See you all tomorrow. So, shall I bring a new pen? Shall I bring a new pen tomorrow?
Why?
Where you can keep rotating without making noise.
That will also make sound.
I will try to make a single mono piece.
Okay, you bring that one and I'll make sound with that.
Definitely. Yes. Anything else? Okay. So if you make, if there is really something in the news, it will be covered in one place or the other, or we can summarize every quarterly. So don't feel if I miss an article 1 day or 2 days, that something sky is going to fall down. Nothing like that. Australia, China, that drama is happening from my preparation days. So quad 2010 quad was active. This is 2021. What happened? Nothing happened. Sorry.
Sir, this thing, the government policy and the issues arising out of that. I was keeping this in mind when I was asking about eShram portal and and
it's a universal problem, right? Database creation, beneficiary identification is a universal problem in governance. See, if you go for too much data collection like biometric, people will come and cry, right, to privacy or data protection. There is no data protection bill. If you don't create that, some other guy will come and say he is not getting enough food. So as a government, how you will balance everyone, right? So there will always be problems in governance. See, your job is a problem solver. That is why they are picking the smartest people in the country. If we have ready-made solutions, do they need you? They can get the things done with existing people themselves. Yes. Okay, then see you all tomorrow. By the way, do come tomorrow. I will bring the pen. Yeah. What happened?
He was about to trip off.
Oh.
Sir, are you a Gandhi?
Oh God. Why do you think so? You think I'm a Gandhian? So if you think left, right, and center, where do you think I fit in? No. I say I enjoy discussing.
You always wear.
Kurta. Acha. I always wear Fair India. That is okay. There is a secret behind. Okay. So no, I am not wearing it for Gandhi or Gandhian reasons. I like it. It's comfortable and I travel a lot, right, on the bike here and there, this institute, that institute. So wherever I go, it will still look formal and pleasant. Yeah. So if a shirt, you have to be all the time alert. Yes, and kurta people don't notice that. And they are cheap also. I mean, in the sense, I mean, cotton is very easy. Especially in summer, it's very difficult. So recently, I changed it to total kurta. Earlier, I used to come in normal shirts. I thought you are having a doubt because of my ideological leanings. No? So by the way, where do you place me? Left, right, and center?
Right, sir.
I'm right wing. Okay. Okay. Mhm. I'm leftist.
No.
Why? Because you are on left. Okay.
The day triple talaq, the issue you discussed about triple talaq,
Hmm.
this will be clear.
In which sense? I don't remember what I told. I
You
mean,
said triple talaq is actually the criminal, it's placed under criminal law.
Hmm.
Shouldn't it be placed under?
Civil law.
Yeah.
Huh,
and that
okay.
one, the other one was about jihad one, which you mentioned.
Mhm.
Maybe. But sir, I have a question.
Mhm.
You said that triple talaq should come under
Hmm.
civil law.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But they're put under
Hmm.
criminal law.
Hmm.
If a man beats a woman in any religion
That's.
or
Hmm. Hmm.
any, isn't a family issue? Why does it come under criminal law? Like he's put into jail immediately. If he again, is it not a family law? Like shouldn't it come under civil
See,
law?
marriage, according to Sanatana Dharma, is not a contract. Okay, according to Abrahamic religions, it's a kind of contract. Okay, so marriage, according to the law, is or constitution, is a civil contract. So sorry, two adults are coming into a contract in a sense, according to constitution, that we will live under a roof and we will have a relations. I am husband, your wife. Like some contract is there. Okay, the contract extends only to that bonding. Okay, when husband starts beating the wife, you are breaching the contract. Okay, because contract is below constitution. Constitution say right to life with dignity. I agree to teach in this class. I didn't agree to teach under 200 degrees temperature. Right, so you can enter a marriage. The moment he starts beating or she starts beating, you are breaching fundamental right of right to life with dignity. It becomes criminal. So triple talaq is supposed to be a civil contract between two people. See, again, Islamic law also says there are lot of steps for triple talaq. It's the misuse of triple talaq. If I say talaq, it's not divorce. Even the Islam says it's not valid. But these mullahs and all these, the middlemen, they have created into an institution. So the problem is in implementation, not the original source or in the law's eyes. Okay. So, and the injustice to Muslim women is definitely being done in the same case. So that is why it's a civil thing. But the thing is, from theory to practice, it took around 7 decades for it to establish firmly. So if I say, please understand this is civil law, people are not in a mood to change. So government thought in a radical fashion that if I put it under criminal law, maybe that message will go into the market. Like instant triple talaq is a wrong thing. Then probably 10 years down the line, when the society has accepted that triple talaq is a wrong thing, maybe I will convert it into a civil law. And also 10 years, I will get more votes. So you understand that, right?
You just said the first part that is why.
Okay. So by the way, I don't definitely belong to right wing. You can ask any of my students in all the old batches. I will take it as an offense rather than right. She told me right. So I take it as an offense. And I'm definitely not left. I'm center to the left. No, see, I consider myself as a classic liberal with left leanings. If you can understand that. Because you have to being liberal is a very difficult thing. Why? I have to give you that space to talk whatever you want to talk. That is the entire basis of being a liberal, right? If someone comes and say, in Muslim population is increasing so rapidly, then I cannot say, you are wrong immediately. He has the choice to think whatever he wants to. If Sai Deepak writes a book, okay, fine. If someone else writes a book, it's fine. I need to give them that space to vent their own creative freedom. But if I say no, you should write only like this, then I am not a liberal in the mask of